The V8 beta came out a week ago,
and with it came some major additions.
One of those includes the difficulty settings.
Here they are for the uninformed.
So naturally, we're going for the max difficulty. Showing enemy spawns actually helps us, but I turn it on anyway later for convenience. Let's go right into the tutorial.
While I'm going through the basics, let me introduce you
to hardcore mode.
Aside from the fog of war, unpredictable AI setting, and invasions,
I will also be playing on the eradication difficulty. You can see here the buffs the difficulty gives. You can see here that the enemies get 50% more health, spawn twice as much enemies, and most significantly, reduces the wave cooldown by 40%.
All of that is to say it's way harder than normal. Everything else is the same as normal mode though.
So I'll cover the maps as if I was playing normally, with the introduction out of the way.
Welcome to hardcore mode. It's been a couple of years since I last saw this tutorial. Such nostalgia. Let's get a taste of this. Note how it says 1x units when there's clearly 2. With a chain to the wind. Wait, I died. And 3 duels just barely killed them.
So that's how eradication is.
No problem. I'll just spam more turrets. By the way, if you're wondering why I am putting so many walls,
I'm manipulating the AI to go to the right side. Here's how it works.
Units are a bit like electricity.
They go for the path of least resistance, or in this case, the path with the least obstruction.
This doesn't factor in turrets, only health,
which means they would go through a path full of turrets,
rather than a defenseless block of walls. At this point, you might be wondering,
where's the hardcore part of this challenge?
Don't worry, you'll see in a bit. Let's just skip through the waves to see what I mean. They went the wrong way.
My tactics have failed me. Maybe if I make a pathway, they'll go the other way. No?
I'll put some extra duos then.
And I ran out of resources too. Good thing the other duos killed them anyway.
Let me fix this.
I really hope this fixes things.
They went the right way.
I guess it's not the size that matters, it's how strong it is.
If that happened in a harder level, then eradication would have killed off the run.
Even though this isn't the math.
Second to last wave. This should be easy now.
Why aren't they dead yet? It's just the tutorial, bro.
They have low health, so I'll kill them myself. The mace is dead, but there's one more wave.
If the maces with the flamethrowers come again, then I lose the map. Surely I won't lose to the tutorial, right?
I'll rebuild what I can with my few copper stocks left, and hope that there's no mace to ruin my day.
No maces. My defense will hold. We beat the tutorial on the first try. Feels weird saying that.
I'll just delete my parts schematics in the meantime. There's also a factory aspect of this game,
But this challenge is about the action.
so I'll only mention it when it's relevant.
Speaking of relevant,
We're going to Frozen Forest.
this was one of the sectors revamped in the 8.
And you can tell because every important resource
Is in the starting circle with Fork of War on. By the way Fork of War works is really simple.
you can think of turrets as radars that reveal the map. You cannot place anything on anywhere that isn't revealed,
And anywhere that doesn't have a turret that has been revealed.
you can place blocks on, but will not be visually updated. You can see it in action here.
And here's the enemy spawn point. It would be dumb to try finding this every run, since the strategy would be to do an exploration.
Before doing the real run, that's why I show enemy spawns later in the video. This spawn point is quite inconvenient. It's very hard to set up a choke point here. I'm also setting up coal.
Which gives access to power and graphite. Here's our graphite, and I get so distracted that eventually
There's only a minute left to set up defenses.
I still have no ammo source.
I went exploring and thankfully found one. But this one is incredibly weak,
Since the duos will consume a lot of ammo,
and that copper patch is nowhere near enough to fend of the eradication waves.
I still need copper, so I go with it anyway.
Perhaps I might have set it up too late. Because it still has to travel the slow conveyors, let me manually put ammo.
And it's already the first wave.
Hope this is enough.
We lived, but there's still 13 more waves.
And even though I found another copper patch, I was forced to set up more turrets due to the bad start.
And though I got access to power,
My lack of experience with me.
I focused on making walls and improving my factory, and even killed a mace that passed the defenses. But eventually, they got past the defenses. And at this stage, just two maces is so devastating that I decided it was unsalvageable.
And called it quits.
The worst part is, I needed the graphite there to research better turrets, but I lost, so I couldn't even research it. You only truly lose when you give up though, so I decided to give it another go. The spawn zone changed. Not a huge fan, but I'll take it.
With some optimizations,
I got a good defense up and running, with good ammo supply and walls. This should be smooth sailing. I even got to Adminders.
which heals damaged blocks. All that's left is to watch the steamroll.
Finally, new turrets.
Arcs take a lot of power, so we need power storage.
And here is their debut. So much damage, but they also use so much power. You just need time to store enough power.
And you will make your way
To a victory. Next up is the craters, which introduces us to
silicon and metaglass, which opens up our tech tree a lot. Before we go there, I want to mention something.
First, we unlocked graphite drills, which mine faster than copper drills, and are what we will mainly use now. More importantly though, I always bring max resources when I launch. This way, I don't have to start from scratch. If you think this makes it easy,
Don't worry, I have a challenge related to that soon, so subscribe to stay tuned.
anyways, I'm at the craters now,
I know from experience that crawlers spawn first,
which explodes from anything, including cheap blocks.
so I will use this time to make a starter base. Also a good time to explore the map a bit. Adding the crawler traps. Mining scrap for scrap ores,
Which are cheap and easy to make.
so I'm researching them now. Power source and arcs are up. Now that we have set up silicon, with the right ratios of coal and sand, it's finally time to make some anti-air. I remember air units only targeting power, so I just made scatters near my power source.
The unpredictable AI setting made me regret this though. You also might have noticed that I'm already at wave 5.
And even though I haven't even made metaglass yet,
The insanely short cooldown between waves turns the runtime of 5 waves into 6 minutes.
and that's not even including all the pausing I have to do. That's gonna become a huge problem down the line. But I'm getting ahead of ourselves. This is only the 3rd sector. Anyways, I got to research scrap ores.
And I finally got metaglass production.
We wanted scrap ores because they're cheap.
And they build incredibly fast, which is essential. So fast that in the time I was talking,
They're already almost done. I'll be using this to tank the many crawlers per wave.
works like a charm. I also expand my power to supply the arcs better,
I had duos for more anti-air on the old power.
but I forgot to add anti-air on the new power.
I sure hope they don't target the new power source.
I add a lot of arcs here, so much that a destroyed power source would end me. Five waves until the Guardian. Now's the time you had scatters.
And now your power's dead.
We lived, crisis averted, I guess. Let's see on the next wave. We're screwed. Maybe this is salvageable?
Let's remove some arcs. How on earth?
What?
I give up. Maybe arcs are the way. Reminds me of the person who got me into Mindustry. His name is Cresslix. He used to advertise the Scorch's damage.
Because back then it was overpowered, and though it has been nerfed since then, I still wanted to try it years later.
So I immediately set up some pyrotite ammo
Made a better defense setup.
and tried them out. They're gone. Say less. The wall got damaged, but even one Scorch used for all of them. And though we had a few major hiccups,
And an ammo error that breached the defenses,
we got to the final and Guardian wave.
which features 2 T3 Zeniths. The tier system will be explained next video.
But just know that they're very powerful and require metaglass scatters to deal with effectively.
They ravaged my base, but eventually.
The craters goes down too, with me learning from my errors.
It's time to steamroll the next few sectors.
Now that we have a basic defense,
It's time to add arcs and scorches. You also might have noticed that I have started making monos that mine copper or lead. I would use these and an upgraded version, since they save so much time.
it's now time to add the scorches. I also have an upgraded core here, which is overall better than the starting core. I got it while researching at the craters, and can launch with it every sector from now on.
So naval units do exist here.
They haven't appeared the entire time. And they appear with a surprise attack. The power storage. Killed them.
But now I have a mess to clean up. I also made a naval defense while fixing stuff. Every part of the defense is complete. Now we just have to get to the final wave. And now for the 4 Guardians. That's eradication for you.
And that's the first for sectors beaten.
This video was supposed to be much longer.
But just these for sectors took way too long to edit. Even still, I hoped you enjoyed the editing.
If you have anything to say, leave it in the comments.
Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.